Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to Learn to Read Qur'an. So in today's lesson we are covering the shortest surah of the Qur'an. This is Surah Al-Kawthar and subhanAllah it's only 3 ayahs long. There are other surahs that are, if you look, only 3 ayahs long, but these are the very shortest of the 3 ayahs. So this is the shortest surah in the Qur'an. And subhanAllah, even though it's short, there are still a few points that I do need to make clear so that you will recite it correctly. So let's start with our isti'adha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So here we are, ayah number 1. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر. Okay, so let's move to our red pen. Well, actually, first of all, let's take off these markings and let's have a look at what's going on. So first of all, kasra on the hamza, joining to the noon with the shadda, and we all know now that noon with shadda means holding the ghunna, and then from the noon you have a fatha, and then you have the 4 count stretch, the med, so the 4 count stretch. So that's why you have in, so you can hear the ghunna first, inna, then you get the 4 count stretch. Then the sharp noise of the hamza with the fatha joining to the ayn. Every letter with sukoon we know gets a bit more time. Ayn as a letter, when it has a sukoon, has some sound that flows through it. So it's not a sharp stopping noise, but there is some sound that flows through. So that's why you have ah. You can hear the noise of the ayn after the hamza. The hamza is nice and sharp. Ah. Then you have the thick, heavy ta with the fatha joining to the ya, طي, and the noise of the ya flows a little bit because of the sukoon. Na, to stretch because of the fatha with the alif. The ka here with the fatha is joining up and over to the lam with the sukoon. Obviously we're reading through, so we're not actually pronouncing the hamzatul wasl. Kal, and you can hear the noise flowing through the lam with the sukoon. Cow. Again, the kaf with the fatha joining to the waw. The sukoon on the waw means the noise flows. And then the tha with the fatha, the ra, when I finish on it, I imagine that instead of the fatha, I actually have a sukoon. So that means that the ra will get some time and you will hear the sound of the ra. We know that ra can be thick or it can be thin, it can be heavy or light. Now, when it has a sukoon on it, when I stop, I look to see, well, will it be heavy? Will it be light? Well, here it will be heavy because of the fatha on the tha. So that's why I have thar. And you can hear the noise, the thickness of the ra when I stop on it. Okay, so let's carry on and do ayah number 2. Don't worry if you think, oh my gosh, I almost didn't go back and read it again. I will be reading the whole surah at the end when we finish breaking it apart and seeing exactly what's happening in each and every single ayah carefully and meticulously as we always do in all of our surahs. So here we go. Ayah number 2, we have fa salli li rabbi ka wan har. Okay, so let me take off my green markings, bring out my red pen, and let's have a look. So the fa here with the fatha, the teeth, the top 2 teeth inside the bottom lip, and lots of air to flow through. That's how you get the letter fa. And then with the ah noise on top because of the fatha. So fa, sa. The sad is thick and heavy with its fatha there, and it's joining to the lam with the shadda. So salli. And that's how much time you need. You need time for the first lam inside the shadda. Remember, when a letter has a shadda, there's actually two of that same letter sat there. The first letter here, the first lam, has a sukoon, so sal, and you need the noise to flow through that. Then the second lam in that shadda combination is the lam with the kasra, so salli. Then I have li, raw. The raw with the feta is thick and heavy. Now that is going to join to the ba with the shadda. Rab. The split second where you get no noise is the first ba inside the ba with the shadda. The first ba being the ba with the sukoon. And obviously ba is made on the lips. So when you press your lips together for that ba with sukoon, you won't get any noise at all. Rab. That's the time for that first ba. Rabbi. Then the second ba comes with the kasra. Ka. Now this isn't joining to anything, it's just the kaf with the fatha noise. This wow here with the fatha is joining up and over to the noon with the sukoon. This is a noon here with the dot there. Underneath it is where you've got the ha. So this is what, can get a bit confusing sometimes when letters are written one on top of the other, as they will be in many of the fonts of Qur'an. So we have one har, and you can hear the noise of the ha, quite breathy, isn't it? And the ra here has its own sukoon anyway, and because we're coming at it with the fatha, the ra here is thick and heavy. So har, and you can hear that ra thick heaviness. The sound of it flows a little bit in that ra with sukoon. Okay, so no, I'll keep the markings on, and let's move now to our third ayah. We have inna shani aka hu wal abtar. Okay, so I'll take off these markings and move to my red pen. This is when we go into it very slowly and in really a lot of detail. So we have the hamza with the kasra, nice sharp noise. E, that's a nice sharp noise of the hamza. It's joining to the noon. The noon has a shadda, so that means the ghunna. We must hear the ghunna. Inna, there's the fatha on top. Sha, the sheen with the fatha and the alif gives me a 2-count stretch. Ni, a, ka. Then the ha, this is the deep ha. It's not the breathy one that we had here. This is the deep one. Hu, wa. Now this wa is joining up and over to the lam. Wal. The sharp noise of the hamza joining to the ba. Aba. And because ba is one of those qalqala letters, you can hear the noise bounce back because of the sukoon. So aba. The ta is joining to the ra at the end as if the ra has a sukoon. Tar. And again, we've explained why that ra should be thick and heavy. Okay, so that was our run through of Surah Al-Kawthar. And inshallah, I'll go through now and just recite it so that you can hear how it flows along. So we have Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. So that was a little bit more of a flowing recitation, not fully flowing. I still wanted to make it clear enough and slow enough for you to follow along if this is the first time reading through Surah Al-Kawthar in that kind of clear, correct way. So well done. Wow, we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 surahs left to do in this course. Please go back on previous lessons if you feel you need the practice. Let me know how it's going. I love to hear from people. So inshallah, let me know how all your practice is going. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Assalamu alaikum.